Hi, we're here to visit about our stories and take a few minutes out of the day to just ponder what God's doing and grab a cup of tea. I hope you'll sit down with me. I'm a tea drinker and love all kinds of tea, so I hope that you'll grab your mug. And we want to talk this month about surrender. And as I was thinking about this topic, I thought of a story from my life. I actually had a point in my life where I was in a lot of financial distress. I had some unexpected medical bills, and I had my monthly expenses, and as I looked at it, and I remember it being spread across my kitchen table, I saw that as I added up the numbers that it was just really beyond my ability financially, and I got really nervous. And normally as I think about money needs, there's nothing like that to really sometimes push you to God, but I decided instead of complaining or just kind of praying and thinking, what am I going to do to fix this, which is my normal response, I decided that it was so overwhelming that I would just lay my bills out on the floor. And then I laid myself out on the floor and I told God, I just confessed my worry, asked Him to forgive me, and I told Him that I knew every amount, that He knew every amount on that bill, and that He would meet my needs, and I thanked Him for that. I got up and I went about my day, I went about my week, and got a phone call several days later, and it was a dear friend of mine who I hadn't spoken with in a while. And she and her husband had their own financial burdens, so I was surprised and delighted when she said that they had a financial gift for me. And then she added, "You're not going to believe how I got it." And she went on to say that her mother-in-law, as a devoted believer, had heard about an idea where money is entrusted to a believer and then they pass it on to help encourage the faith of another to sow into the kingdom. So her mother-in-law had recently sold her business, and she had passed on a check for a fairly large amount to her husband, my friend's husband, her son, and encouraged him to gather his family together and pray about how to sow into God's work. And my friend says that her husband actually forgot about the check and the conversation with his mother-in-law for a few days, but then it came back up and he told my friend about what his mother had encouraged them to do, and he said he had it in his heart to give to my ministry. And at that point my friend was in agreement. So that's the amazing way that God provided for my medical bills. And the reason why I share this is because it helps illustrate surrender for us. I think about surrender, and I don't know about you, but sometimes it feels like waving the white flag is a consolation prize until I remember that there's an exchange of power. And I looked up the definition for surrender, and it is the action of giving power or yielding one's person or giving up the possession of something, especially into the power of another person. And as I thought about that, I was like, there's a great exchange in surrender, because God is calling you and me as His beloved daughters to give up our fear, our anger, our worrying, our understanding of how things should go, our complaining, our clinging to what we see, and He's asking us to exchange for His unfathomable power, the power to guide, the power to heal, the power to restore, the power to do so many things that we cannot even imagine. He can strengthen us, He can counsel us, He can orchestrate and arrange things that we would never be able to grab our minds around. And so He's asking us to give up the status quo and to surrender. And it's an action. I love that about that definition. It says that the action. So it's not just a passive, but it's an action of giving to God His power. When we admit defeat and being able to handle life situations in our own strength, we gain an experience of the unfathomable power of God. Power to orchestrate and all the things that He brings to us. And there's also a never-ending supply of power to unleash purpose and peace in everything we encounter. So sister, I think about all the stories at Sacred Story, and I hope you'll read some, because the main theme is always surrender no matter what the topic is. And I pray that this Easter season, as we reflect on the surrender of Jesus, that we have a great blessing. Thank you.